Hi everyone, we're going to take you through my personal favourite go-to exercises when you're in that early period postnatal, so in those first couple of weeks. Now we've got our little friend Darcy here today, our little cheer squad, so sorry if we hear any little squeaks along the way, but mum's at home, I'm sure you can relate to that. Now you don't need any props for this workout, and just you and your mat, and we're going to start down onto your backs. So coming and having a lie down, just placing those feet just a little bit wider than hip width apart on the floor, and then take your arms into your stop sign. So you've got your forearms pointing up towards the ceiling, palms facing up. Just relax your neck, let your shoulders melt into the mat, and let's just start with a nice twist of the knees. So we'll take them over to the right, gently rotating through the hips, the spine, and then bring the knees up through center and take them over towards the left. So let's just keep moving through the knees and the hips there. And you can start to add an opposing movement through your neck. So looking over the opposite shoulder as the knees move in each direction. You can go super slow here or pick up that pace a little bit depending how those joints are feeling. Just breathing as you go. Now throughout this workout, depending on what sort of delivery you've had, whether it be a vaginal delivery or C-section, I just want you to be very aware. We want to avoid any heaviness around the pelvis or any pulling along your incision site if you have one. Everything should feel comfortable, just encouraging some nice gentle movement and reactivating the muscles around the hips, the pelvis, and getting your shoulders, your upper back moving, which should feel great. All right, last one there. Let's bring those knees back up through center. Okay, we're gonna bring those arms down by your side, walk those feet in to hip width apart, and bring those heels a little bit closer towards you. Now bringing your focus to your lower back, your pelvis. We're gonna start with some pelvic tilt. So imprinting your lower back into the mat and then gently tipping forward. So you may or may not have already started these exercises. You may have been instructed to do these while in hospital. Really good way to encourage some movement around that lower back, lower segments of the spine. Incorporating your breath, exhaling as you flatten your back and inhaling as you tip forward, will start to just naturally engage a little through your core and your pelvic floor without you having to overly think about it. So let's think about that. So exhaling as you imprint into the mat, inhaling as you rock forward, starting to really exaggerate that movement if you can. So arching that back as far as feels comfortable. Let's go for 4 more here. Exhale, imprint. Just checking those knees remain parallel, shoulders melt down into the floor. 2 more here before we start to add on. All right, last one, rocking that pelvis forward. Now this time, let's imprint, and we're gonna continue by rolling your spine all the way up into a bridge position. Pause when you get to the top. Really tuck your tailbone, drive your heels further into the ground to see if you can lift up a little higher, and then slowly roll your spine down bit by bit by bit, all the way to your tailbone, releasing that pelvis forward at the bottom. And again, exhale, imprint, roll it up. So continuing with that bridge, rolling up and down. Now you might feel incredibly stiff and rigid as you go. Ideally, you'll start to free up. But take your time. You don't want to feel any pain doing this movement, so just be mindful, particularly when you get to the top. Don't overarch. Think about that tuck of your bottom under, and think about being really forceful through your heels. That's going to help you recruit those muscles through the back of your legs. You want to think that you have a soft ball between your knees, so you're just holding on to it, and that's going to help you keep those knees parallel. We're going to go for 5 more here. Driving those knees further forward with every bridge to really open up those hip flexors. 4 to go. Natural breath is the most important thing, so we're avoiding that breath holding. If you can, think about exhaling on the way up, inhaling to hold at the top, and exhaling on the way down, all the better. On that next one, let's hold those hips up nice and high at the very top and just stay there. Now can we tuck that tailbone under a little further, drive your knees forward, press your heels further into the ground. From here, keep those hips nice and still. We're just gonna float the arms up to the ceiling, reach them all the way behind to tap the floor, and then arms come up to the ceiling, reach them back down to the mat by your side. Just those arms, they lift all the way overhead, nice long reach, and then reach them to the ceiling as they lower back down. So everything else stays nice and still. So as your arms reach overhead, think of your knees driving forward in the opposite direction to get as much length through the front of your body as you can. Continuing here, just check in with your feet. Have you started to really dramatically claw through your toes? Try and just let them splay. Force through the heels, but all 5 toes are resting gently on the mat. 3 to go here. Breaking at any point if you need to. Last 2. How you going there, little Darce? All good? Last 1. Let's float the arms back up to the ceiling, back down by your side. Hold it there for a moment. Lift the hips up a little higher and then slowly melt the spine down bit by bit by bit all the way to your tailbone. When you get to the bottom, just give those knees just a little rock from side to side. Just release for a sec. If you need to take a knee hug, feel free. All right, now coming back to center with those knees, let's settle in our neutral spine. So your tailbone is heavy. There is a teeny tiny space between your low back and the mat there, okay? So we're in our neutral. Helpful to pop your hands on the front of your pelvis, the heels of your hands on the outside of your hips, and then your fingertips meet at your pubic bone. Make any little adjustments you need there. So you're level from left to right, and your fingertips and the heels of your hands are also level, so therefore you will be in your neutral. Take a moment to tune in with your breath. As you inhale, feel your rib cage expand into the mat. And then as you exhale, feel the top of the rib cage melt down towards your hips. So as you inhale, we expand to the back, we expand to the sides. And as you exhale, we narrow without excessive force needed here. Natural inhale, natural exhale. So just keep coming back to that concept, really encouraging movement around that rib cage. In this early postnatal period, it is normal for those ribs to still be quite prominent. Okay, they've had to move up to allow for the growth of your baby, but with lots of stretching, mobility, and strengthening of your core, we're gonna start to see that rib cage settle down. All right. So from here, pelvis stays still. Bring your attention to your legs. Your left knee, can we take it out to the side by rolling to the outer border of that left foot? Can you bring that knee back up through center and repeat just that left side? So your left knee folds to the left and then it glides back up to the midline. Now, we're not just flopping the leg in and out. We're moving with control. So it's a nice slow movement to the side, slow movement back up again. Now I've got my hands on my pelvis here. They are monitoring that the pelvis doesn't change position. So that means that we're using those deep abdominals to stabilize as that leg moves through space. Again, I'm not gripping through the feet, the toes. I'm just allowing that foot to roll to the outer border and then back to flat. Thinking about that breath, let's inhale as you open your knee out to the side and exhale as you bring it back up through center. So with the expansion of your rib cage, that knee follows, and with the narrowing of the ribs, the knees narrow. Let's go for 4 more on this left side. Maybe feeling a bit of warmth in that inner thigh as the knee comes back through center. Last 2. Brilliant. Last one on the left. Let's bring that knee back to meet in center. We're taking it to the right. So right knee folds right and then comes back up. Now notice there may be a difference. One side might feel a little tighter, maybe through the front or the inside of the hip. So you might find you can't go as far without rocking from side to side, or maybe you can go further. Your hands are the guide here. Okay, making sure that pelvis stays level. And again, moving with control and purpose. And that makes the exercise super effective rather than just letting that limb kind of flop out and in. If you know you're more on the mobile, flexible side, you probably have to be a bit more conscious. Whereas those that are a little stiffer, that probably comes a little bit more naturally. Let's go for 5 more here. Inhaling to open the knee. Exhaling to close. And as that core and that hip warms up, you might be able to go a little bit further still there. Good, last 3. 2 more on this right side, anchoring down through the left, check those knees, meet in parallel, last 1. We're gonna bring the knees back to parallel, excellent. Take a few pelvic tilts, let's reset, imprint, and then arch the back tip forward, imprint, and arch. It might feel a little bit funny around your incision site if you've had a cesarean. That's okay. We want that tissue to move and mobilize just to minimize any adhesions of the scarring as it heals. But of course, we don't want any dramatic pulling or pain, okay? So you just move the range that feels tolerable for you. Now, coming back to settle in your neutral again, should feel more natural now. Reach those arms up above your chest. Palms are facing in, fingertips along. Okay, so back to our knee folds. Let's start by folding that left knee out to the left and then bring that knee to center, we go to the right. So we're gonna alternate the knees this time. Mindful as we add layers here, not to lose your control. So pelvis still stays still as you alternate your knee fold. Now, simply by lifting the arms off the floor, we're reducing your support here. Okay, so you have to go with feel. If you feel up to it, we're gonna add an opposite arm. So as you open left knee, right arm folds to the right, knee and arm glide to center, and then left arm and right knee. Okay, so take your time. We inhale to open the limbs and exhale to close them. Inhale, expand, exhale, close. By cueing that breath, it just stops you from really bracing, becoming really rigid around that rib cage, which is already pretty tight for the moment. So if in doubt, just come back to that breathing. Make sure you are in fact breathing and not holding that breath. Let's go 5 more. Little squeaky friend next to me. You've got 4. Last 3. 2 to go. Should be feeling pretty warm between those hip bones now. Last 1. Bringing those limbs all the way back up through center and then lowering those arms back down. Excellent. Okay, palms press into the mat. Slide those feet a little bit closer in towards you. We're coming for a second round of bridges. So let's imprint that lower back. Peel those hips away from the floor. Tuck that tailbone, pause at the very top, and then massage that spine back down. Bit by bit, release your pelvis at the bottom. And again, let's imprint and roll it up. Should be moving nice and freely now. Nice and warm through the back of the legs. Melt the ribs all the way back down. 4 more here, and we're gonna meet at the very top. Driving those knees forward. Good, 3 to go. Now, as I said before, you might be feeling that tummy is really starting to engage, but you also might find your sensation around the belly or the pelvis is a little bit dulled for the moment. That's very common as well. That will come every week. You'll start to increase that sensation if that is the case for you, so don't panic. All right, on that next bridge, let's roll those hips all the way up to the top and meet me there. Tuck that tailbone, hold. All right, now from here, keeping your hips level, keeping them high. Can you float your right heel just away from the mat and then slowly flatten that heel back down? Stay on that same side. Right heel lifts, right heel lowers. So just rolling up to the toes, rolling down to the heel. As the heel lifts and lowers, check in. Are you level with that pelvis from left to right? Use your hands if you need to. Continuing to control the lift and lower. Might be a little shaky. That probably means you're moving at the right pace there, trying to throw the heel up and down. Let's go 5 more, and then we're gonna keep that heel lifted. And 4. If you're struggling to feel the range of movement there, just bring your feet a little bit closer towards you. Last 2. Let's float that right heel away from the mat and just hold it there. So we've got a flat left foot on the toes of the right. Now from here, can you drop your hips down 1 inch, lift 1 inch, down and up. So it's a teeny tiny lift and lower from the top. And I want you to think, push really heavily through your left heel. Nice and light through those right toes. Let's go 8 more. And 7. You've got 6 and 5. Last 4. Just 3. Last 2. Last one, lift those hips up high. Let's flatten that right heel down. Slowly roll the spine down bit by bit. Take a moment at the bottom. If you need a knee hug, you go for it. Join us when you're ready. Otherwise, we're gonna roll straight back up again. Tuck that tailbone, drive the knees forward, meet me there. Brilliant. Now from the top, it's left heel that floats up and slowly lowers. Okay, again, checking in. Knees stay parallel, pelvis stays level. Check with your hands if you need to. Thinking really heavy through your right heel and then slow lift and lower on that left side. Let's go 5 more here. 8. Last 3. In 2, heel stays high. All right, lift that heel up high, hold it. We have those little top range pulses, down 1 inch and lift, down and up. Really press heavy through that right heel, splay the toes, 8 here, and 7. You've got 6, last 5. Push through the mat, 4, and 3, last 2, Last one, lift the hips, I should say, up nice and high. Drop that left heel. Slowly roll the spine back down bit by bit by bit. Release that pelvis at the bottom. Come back to those cactus arms we did to start. Widen those feet and give those knees a nice active rock from side to side. Feel free to add that rotation through the neck in the opposite direction if that feels nice. Brilliant. All right, bringing those knees back up through center. Now we're gonna roll over onto your left side. Okay, so coming over onto your left, stacking those legs, knees bent, feet are in line with your bottom, and let's just interlace those hands behind your head and let your elbows hug your cheeks. Now try not to be in the fetal position here. Lengthen out through your spine a little bit, stick your bottom out, okay, which might take a bit of conscious effort if you're spending all that time hunching over that baby. So now elbows together at the cheeks. We're going to take that top elbow up and over and rotate through that upper back, looking towards that top elbow. And then close that right elbow back over to meet the left. Inhale here. Let's exhale, take that twist. Should feel amazing. Opening up the shoulders, the ribs, the middle back. And then close it back together. Let's go 3 more here. Any of these exercises that we do that tickle your fancy or you think, oh yeah, my body kind of needs that, feel free to just pick them and repeat them throughout the day. No harm in doing a few extra bridges or book openings like this. Lucky last there, guys. Really just enjoy that twist, exhaling into the movement. And then closing those elbows back together. Now from here, you can keep that left arm underneath your head. You can straighten it or keep it bent if you prefer. Again, just checking that we're long through the spine, okay? So try not to scrunch. Right hand finds your hip, heels are together, resting down on the mat. Now find length. Let's press that right hip away, create space between your left waist and the mat. Really simple. We're just going to lift that top knee away from the bottom and then lower it back down. Okay, basic clam here. I want you to actively squeeze your heels together as that top knee lifts and lowers, starting to generate some warmth in the outside of that right hip, waking up those glutes. You might have a really sore bum already from all that sitting, but this is really going to help get some blood flowing into the area, re-energize those glutes. Going to need lots of strength as that baby continues to grow. Thinking about drawing that thigh bone up into your hip socket as you lift and lower. Again, I'm trying to avoid that floppy leg up and down. We've got 8 more here before we layer. Very good boy. 6 to go. Keeping length through that waist. Tailbone gently back behind you. Try and resist the urge to tuck your bottom under. Let's go for 3. Just 2. Last one, lowering the top knee. We now float the feet away from the floor. Keep them glued, heels together. Same again, top knee lifts and lowers. Okay, so both hips in a bit of rotation now. So keep the height through the ankles as you lift and lower that top knee. Now we go as high through that leg as you can while staying stacked through the hips. Okay, so that top hand, you can just check in that you're not rolling backwards. Then if you need to replace it to the floor for support, no worries. Drawing that thigh bone deeper and deeper into that hip socket with every rotation. Let's go 6 more. Hopefully you have a cooperative audience with you as well, or perhaps a sleeping one. 2 to go. On that next rotation, can you lift that leg high for me and hold it? It should be pretty warm through the outside of that hip now. Now from here, just like with our bridge, top range pulse, lift an inch. Up and up. Emphasize the lift, not so much the lower, for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that knee, drop the shins. Good job. Just give that bottom a bit of a pat. Well done. Excellent. Okay, from here we're going to come over onto hands and knees. So making your way up. Come a little bit closer to you, young man. Keep you entertained. Hello. Okay, we've got those hands underneath shoulders, knees under hips. Let's just take a moment here to come into our cat stretch. Hi. So rounding that spine up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin, tuck that tailbone, look to the belly. And then melting down the other way. Arching that back as you gaze forward. Let's round that spine back up. Follow your own breath here, guys. Exhaling as you lift. Inhale, exhale, transition to the other position here. And you'll find that one direction feels easier than the other. Okay, we're not looking for pain, but if there's a bit of discomfort, that's okay to work through. Okay, we want to minimize that rigidity through the spine, stiffness that might be building. Hello. high. And as you move in each direction, yes, you can get nice and active through your belly as you round up towards the ceiling, as you pull belly to spine, but try and really let go through your belly, widen your hips, relax the pelvic floor as you sink down. Let's go for one more in each direction. And then coming to rest in your neutral. Okay, so we have a nice length through the upper back, tailbone points up towards the ceiling. All right, now just take a moment here to let go between your sit bones. Okay, so relax through that pelvic floor, but we are actually going to bring your attention to the pelvic floor here. All right, now we're going to think about turning that pelvic floor on and off. As you do this, nothing should change in your back position, okay? So everything remains the same, so I wouldn't know looking at you that you were doing them. Now, if you know you are hypertonic, so tight through your pelvic floor, I want you to focus more on the off, not so much the on. And maybe you want to sit out every second rep, okay? Otherwise, we're going to count. We're going to switch the pelvic floor on and off. That's 1. Let's go on and off. 2, on, 3, off, 4, on, off, 5, off, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and then just take a moment, shake out those hips a little. All right, now we're going to go a little slower. Okay, so resetting, finding that neutral. When you're ready, let's switch that pelvic floor on and release. 2, release, and 3, release, and 4. Remember your focus, release. Is it the on or the off? 5, and release. You've got 6, and release, 7, release, and 8, release, and 9, release, last one, on, release, and take a moment, sit those hips right back, reach those arms forward, great job. So that's again something that you can practice. Again, coming into all fours is a really nice position. Maybe do a couple of cat-cows prior and thinking, is your focus the on or is it the off? All right. And now coming forward from here, resetting. So we've got those hands underneath those shoulders and those knees under hips, finding that neutral spine. Okay, now we're going to keep that left hand grounded on the mat. Your right hand, I want you to slide it forward, float it up to a parallel position, slide it back down underneath your shoulder. So we keep floor contact to slide forward, float away from the mat up to parallel, lower it back down underneath that right shoulder. So continuing to move just through that right arm. Now as you do, try not to sway your hips over to the left, stay nice and centered. We're going to exhale as you reach the arm away and then inhale as you bring it back down. And this can provide a good little distraction for your little audience. Little spew there. Let's go 5 more here. And then in 4, we're going to keep that arm lifted. Now, thinking actively press away from the mat with that left hand. I know that left shoulder gets tired. It's working the hardest. Next time you lift the right arm up, can you meet me there? Palm faces down, hold it. Now keep the arm high. We're going to sweep it out to the side till your pinky taps your hip and then sweep it back out to the side, reach it forward. So just that right arm moving through space, attempting to keep it the same height. Might feel really stiff or clunky through your shoulder. I promise this movement is good for you. If you need a break, as always, come back, join us when you're ready. Let's go 4 more. Reprieve is coming. Keep breathing. Try not to sit back into the hips. Stay stacked. Last 2. Last 1. Reach that arm all the way forward. Now from here, we're just going to reach it back out to the side in line with that right shoulder. Let's reach that arm all the way to the ceiling. Rotate your torso as you go, look to the fingers. And then we're going to dive that arm down to the mat, taking that shoulder all the way down side of the head. You can reach that left arm forward. Just take a moment there, so relieving that pressure on the left. Inhale, exhale, see if you can just twist a little bit further, reaching that right arm away. Nicely done. And let's come up from there, replace right hand under shoulder and the left. Reset that pelvis, have a little wag of your tail, arch that back if you need, then coming to rest in your neutral, and let's get into the other side. So starting, setting that pelvis, let's slide left arm forward, float away from the floor, find parallel, slide back underneath your shoulder. Try and be really light through that hand as it comes back to the mat, so we're not transferring weight to the left, we're keeping it in the right. Reach it up, slide it down. Now as that arm moves through space, try not to shift your body weight, stay centered, and keep pushing up away from the right shoulder. The most common thing we see in weight bearing is a sag. Okay, I know it's tiring through the arm, but it is an arm exercise, not just the core. Reach it forward. Hi. You're impressed. Smile must mean good form. Thanks, Darcy. Slide it back down. Let's go 5 more here. If you're feeling a little weak around the wrists, that's super common. They're doing so much at the moment, handling that little one. So think about pushing your heel of hand and the pads of your fingers into the mat and really lift. A little bit goes a long way. This strength is definitely going to help. Next time you reach that arm up to parallel, meet me there, hold it. It stays the same height, palm face down. Sweep your pinky all the way to the left hip and then reach it all the way forward. Lovely. And again, reaching out to the side. And then sweep it forward. Brilliant. Keeping that arm the same height as you can, lubricating that shoulder, should feel free with every rep. Yeah, that's right. Let's go for 3 more here. Nice long reach. And 2. Last one. Reaching that arm all the way forward, then sweep it back out to the side. We're going to float the arm up to the ceiling, looking towards those fingers. And take a dive and twist, dropping the side of the head and shoulder to the mat there. Really wring out through that upper back. Slide those right fingertips forward and just enjoy that twist. Nice, take a moment. And then coming up from there, we're going to swivel around. So we're going to come down to lie on your right side now. Okay, so lying all the way down. Let's interlace those hands behind your head to start. Knees are bent, feet in line with your bottom, long spine. Let's start by taking that top elbow up and over into our rotations on this side, then closing back together. Now definitely take note, you probably will feel different, one side versus the other. We usually have a side preference where we mainly hold the baby, or where one side of feeding is easier to carry. So you might find a difference in tension. So if that's the case, throw in a few extra stretches for that stiff, tight side throughout the day. Let's go for 2 more here. Last one, opening out and then closing those elbows back together. We're going to take that left hand to your hip now. You can keep that right arm underneath your head with a bent or straight elbow, up to you. Lengthen your spine, push your left hip away from you. All right, we're going to glue those heels together. You know where we're going. That top knee lifts and then lowers. So thinking about drawing that thigh bone up into that hip socket now. This side's already done a little bit, so hopefully it cooperates and kicks into gear. But be mindful, move with purpose and no floppy limbs as you lift and lower. The better you squeeze the heels together, the more you'll feel it. Just naturally breathing here, trying not to brace around your upper body, okay? Let's let that lower body do the work. Let's go for 8 more here. It's my squeaky little friend. Doing well. 6 to go. Last 4. Just 2. Dropping the knee, let's float both feet away from the floor. They stay there. Continue to lift and lower just that top knee. Heels stay cemented together. Go for some range, okay? Don't stop shy of your limit, but just be mindful hips are staying stacked. Should be pretty warm in that hip now. I know I'm feeling it. Let's take it through another 8. Staying long through the waist, long through your spine. Just 5. And 4. Last 3. Holding high in 2. Let's lift that knee up, hold it. Top range pulses, lift. Lift, you're barely dropping. Think of the lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and drop it back down. Amazing. Relaxing those feet. Again, just give that bottom a bit of a pat. Brilliant. All right, let's finish it off coming over onto our backs. Knees back to that parallel position like we did to start. One more time, find those stop signs. And then let's take those knees for that rock from side to side, adding in that neck rotation, looking the opposite way to where the knees are going. Should be moving nice and freely. Next time those knees travel over to the right, just stop there, looking to the left. Can you pick up that right foot? Let's pop it on the outside of that left knee and just apply a little pressure there just to deepen that stretch through that left hip. Take a moment just to relax into it, exhaling to deepen the stretch further. And then releasing that foot, let's bring the knees up through center, over to the left, falling heavy. Left foot presses on the outside of that right knee, gazing to the right. And then relaxing that foot down, bring those knees back to center. Carefully make your way via your side, up from there. Give those shoulders a bit of a roll. And thanks for joining us, guys. Hopefully that feels nice and delicious.